Yeah, whatever you got to do. You got pizzas, you got.
I don't really care. That's mine.
It's going to be a week like that, so.
Yep.
Okay, I got to go. Let's record.
It's not allowing me because there's other ones in there.
We can hear you, John.
Good. Well, we were on this other, Lindsay sent that other, sorry. Rich and I are on the other screen, on the other invite.
Invite.
With the Google.
You're muted, Lindsay, you're muted.
You're muted, Lindsay, I can't.
Still muted.
Okay, when I added a couple people to the invitation, I think I did it from my phone versus on the computer, and for whatever reason, it added the Google Hangouts function, which wasn't on there originally. So
Okay. Well, and Rich wanted to know how to get on. Can you get a hold of him and tell him how to get onto the?
Well, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So what should I call in on, and I'll drop off this and call in.
This is fine if you're just planning to be on the phone rather than video.
That's all I can be.
And you can hear Rich okay?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're good then.
Okay.
We're good then. Okay.
Okay.
I'll stay on this one. I think I've got to shut the other one down to get my video up. I'm all messed up.
I saw a flash of you, that's all I saw.
Well, I can see you, but I can't see my, for some reason, I can't seem to get back into that. Okay, am I back? Okay.
There you are.
All right, good deal. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. So, where is my main page? All right. I'll call the May 18, 2020 City Council meeting to order. Due to COVID-19 concerns, the Council is holding an electronic meeting utilising Zoom. Iowa Code Section 21.8 outlines the guidelines to hold an electronic meeting when there are valid concerns that an in-person meeting is impossible or impractical due to COVID-19 concerns and social distancing recommendations. An electronic meeting is being offered. Council members will be utilising Zoom to attend the meeting from their homes. Minimal staff will be at City Hall. Topic, City Council meeting, City of Webster City. So anyway, you can join via the Zoom meeting. The meeting ID is 831-2065-4853, and the password is 278934. Otherwise, you can dial in your location by 1312-626-6799, or you can join with Skype for Business. The meeting can also be accessed by visiting the City of Webster City Facebook page, where it will be streamed, live streamed. And the video is also posted to our YouTube channel. So, little roll call.
Caitlin Hartman, Caitlin, are you there?
Yes, sorry, I've just got a loud kid in the background.
Sorry. John Hawkins,
Yeah.
Matt McKinney,
Here.
Brian Miller,
Here.
Logan Welch.
Here.
Okay. Call for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Brian.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Okay. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States
United States of America.
To the republic.
To the
Republic
republic for which it
stands,
stands,
Stand.
Nation.
One nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
with liberty and justice for
for
all.
all.
Okay. I had to stand up and look out my window. All right. Okay, item A, petitions, communications, and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in case of emergency, the city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. I had just one note for everybody in town. The bricks that have been available at the street department are a little, I don't think they're available at the moment because you can't really get in there. And so I'd rather nobody went down there for the next couple of weeks until we get that job finished off that's in there. And the two pallets of bricks that are at the back there aren't for general public. They're actually bricks that I stacked up there for the Bone Bright Museum. I see someone's been helping themselves to it. So,
I got a little to add to that.
Yeah.
We actually brought a bunch of loads up to the front by the wood
did you?
chip pile.
Okay. So there is some up near the wood chip pile for people to get. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me on the weekend that there was somebody did something like that. I asked, so I should have called you today. Okay.
Yeah. I thought about reposting it again, but I don't know. I just thought people might see it as they drive in. But yeah, it's available right there by the
No worries. I see somebody did go in and start. I don't think like they took too many off it, but that one pellet they took some off it. But
Sure.
It's it's whatever. Lindsay, did you want to say anything about the grant that you got this week or last week?
Sure. If everyone can remember back a few months ago, I believe it was in February, I had met with the Parks and Recs Commission and showed them the plans to submit for a grant with the Wellmark Foundation. And it was a large match grant up to $100,000. And we applied for and received, I think it's $98,000 approximately, that will go towards installing new playground equipment and some outdoor fitness equipment at East Twin Park. And some of that expense, that goes with it will be in kind. We have to come up with a match, and 50% of the match needs to be cash match. So some of the in-kind that we'll be doing will be the site preparation, and we have some plans for some sidewalks that'll make the equipment accessible. And then we'll be looking we have that Friends of Webster City Parks and Recreation Fund at Enhanced Hamilton County. So for those that have been kind of waiting for the opportunity or to know what their funds will be going towards, you can still make donations. We have until September to come up with our match. And any donations that would be made would be greatly appreciated by the city. But we're very excited. That's a very, and it'll go a long ways towards getting some really nice new equipment there at East Twin Park. So thanks to the Parks and Recs Commission and Larry and his team for helping us out with that.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone have anything else? All right. I'll move on.
John?
Yep.
John?
Yes.
This is Rich Stroner.
Yes, Rick.
Finally got back.
Okay. I'm just going to read your proclamation now, Rich.
All right.
Okay. So I have a proclamation for Memorial Day, May 25th of 2020. Whereas Americans, we enjoy the freedom of peace, prosperity, and independence. These are virtues upon which the United States was built and ideals that bind us together as a nation. And whereas on Memorial Day, we pause to remember that freedom comes at a great cost. Throughout history, in fields, skies, seas around the world, American military personnel have given their lives to defend our liberty and uphold the promise of our democracy. And whereas the first Memorial Day was observed in 1868, originally as Decoration Day, in remembrance of soldiers who died in the Civil War, for 152 years, our nation has set aside this day to pay homage to all American patriots who have fallen in service of our country. And whereas due to COVID-19 concerns and social distancing recommendations, no public services for this year Memorial Day are planned. However, the American Legion is recording their normal Memorial Day services, which will be played on radio station KQWC at 11 a.m. on May 25th, and the American Legion will be hosting a procession of vehicles displaying flags throughout the city. Now, therefore, I, John Hawkins, Mayor of City of Webster City, do hereby proclaim May 25th of 2020 as Memorial Day in Webster City, Iowa, and urge our citizens to honor and remember the veterans of our community and listen to the program of radio station KQWC and watch the vehicle procession. Rich is going to give us some more information on the parade, and so go ahead, Rich.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, what we're planning to doing, I've been working with the city manager, who is trying to get us a police and a fire department escort. We are going to be meeting behind the city hall at approximately 11:15 next Monday. We'll have some pickup trucks with flags in them, and potentially we've got a combat veterans motorcycle riders group that are going to come to town. And I know Jeff has been working on getting us a route through the city, and we want to make sure we can hit as much of the town as we can. And that'll occur and start as soon as the radio broadcast is over, which should take about 35 minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
That's Rich Strain, in case for those who didn't know who was talking. All right, item B is minutes and claims. The following items have been deemed non-controversial. Routine actions can be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. I ask if you want to take the following: 1, minutes of May 4th, 2020. Resolution on payroll for the period ending May 9th and paid on May 15th of 2020. And item 3 is a resolution on bills and the fund list.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
and Hartman.
Yes.
Okay. Item 2 on the, what do we got? C, general agenda. Motion on planning and zoning commission minutes of May 11th, 2020. Just a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Logan.
Second. Brian.
Okay, roll call. McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes. Okay. Item 2 on the agenda is a public hearing, 6:05 p.m. Public hearing. Item A is a public hearing on the continuation of the citywide urban revitalization plan for residential tax abatement. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
Received no written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections presented.
I'll close the hearing. Carly, you must have had a good meeting. So with
Yeah.
TNT.
We did. Most of you are familiar with the residential tax abatement program that we've offered since 1993. This is a program that we have been allowed by the state to extend, but not change the narrative because of new guidelines that are in place now with the state. If we did change any of the narrative, we would have to only allow $75,000 to be abated against a new dwelling, whereas now we're still allowed the 100% that we originally drew our plan from. So in light of the fact that, yes, our infill lots are running out, and an infill lot is described as a lot that's on an existing street, is within 50 feet of water and within 50 feet of street or of sewer, that qualifies as an infill lot. Now, as we move more into the program of demolition of old structures, we're coming up with more vacant lots that if someone did put a house on it, they would indeed qualify for tax abatement because that would be an infill lot. So any of the new subdivisions, any of the Brewer Creek Estates, Home Edition, Gorley's Edition, they do not qualify. But anything in the center part of town mainly is considered an infill lot. So we've been having, up to this point, we've done 137 new dwellings that have qualified. So Planning and Zoning Commission does recommend that you extend this another 3 years, and then we can reevaluate it at that time.
Yeah, I think it's a good program. It's anything we can do to excite the building within the older part of town is a good thing. So. Anyone have any questions for Carla? Okay, call for a motion.
So moved. Logan.
Well, I suppose I better read it properly. I'll call for a motion on a resolution adopting the extension of an urban revitalization plan for residential tax abatement.
So moved. Logan.
Second, Brian.
Oh, gosh.
Who seconded?
Matt or
McKin-
Brian? Two of us,
McKinney?
Matt and Brian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, roll call. Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
and McKinney.
Yes.
Okay, item B is a public hearing on budget amendments for the 2019-2020 budget. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
Received no written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections presented.
Okay, I'll close the hearing. Dodie, did you want to talk on this at all? Or does anybody have any specific questions for Dodie or anything? Is Dodie on the line?
She's there, but
Yep,
she's muted.
She's there, she's muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
We can hear you now.
Sorry.
All right.
Well, I don't, they were pretty cut and dry. I thought this was probably the year that we didn't have as many as normal. We had the project, you know, the street department building wasn't actually budgeted this year. It was next year. We started a year early.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2020 street project was not budgeted. And then the other one was the houses that are going to be demolished. We're going to use LMI, and we had not budgeted for that as well.
All right. Anyone have any other questions for Dodie? Thanks, Dodie.
Yep.
I'll call for a motion on a resolution amending the current budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Second, Brian.
Okay, roll call. Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, item C is a public hearing on proposed plans, specifications, and form of contract and estimate of costs for the 713 2nd Street facade renovation project. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections presented.
Okay, I'll close the hearing. Lindsay, you going to talk on this one? Or who? Yes.
I can, and then Michael can maybe add some things if he needs to. So again, this is for the Elks Building, as we colloquially call it, 713 2nd Street. We received 4 bids on that project, and the lowest bid from a qualified bidder came from Westbrook Construction out of Urbandale. The bid came in below what the opinion of probable cost would be, so that's a good sign. And I believe they plan to start June 15th. Is that correct? Or am I mixing that up with one of the other start dates that was proposed?
No, that is what he had presented. He's actually talking about gearing up a little earlier than that even.
Okay. So we have to have a pre-bid construction meeting, so we'll be scheduling that before any work can begin and making sure we have all our easements in line. But other than that, we should be ready to get started on fixing up the facade of the Elks Building. So that'll be all the brick and tuck pointing, all the windows, and the north side, the ones that are bricked in are going to get restored or put back in place. And for those that have been wondering, this will include removing the glass block windows from the south facing 2nd story. So those will become clear window panes again. So that'll be really beautiful on the building. So a lot of brickwork on the west where it's badly damaged. Any more detail you want to add to that, Michael?
No, just going through most of the building, also give it a cleaning, atmospheric cleaning. And then the north and west sides also get 100% repointed. So the mortar joints will tighten up. Same thing on the upper parapet, and then about 40% on the south street facade. And then the 2 stained glass panels above each of those windows also get removed. They're taken to a shop and will be restored and reset.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions? No. Well, thanks, Michael. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
I'll call for a motion on a resolution awarding the contract for the.
You got it.
Oh,
We got to do,
I'm skipping ahead. I'll call for motion on a resolution finally approving and confirming plans, specifications, and formal contract and estimate of costs for 713 2nd Street facade renovation project.
So moved.
Second.
okay, roll call. Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Okay, item 7, I'll call for a motion on a resolution awarding the
Wait,
contract.
John, you need to do C2, the awarding of contract.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, is call for a motion.
She does 5 meetings.
Resolution awarding contract for 713 facade renovation project to Westbrook Construction of Urbandale, Iowa, in the amount of $530,950 and $20,000 for stained glass panel inspection and restoration. Call for motion.
So moved. Logan.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
and Hartman.
Yes.
Okay, well, that'll be a good project started. A lot of people get excited over that one. So, thank you, Lindsay. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Item 3 is a request from the American Legion Post 191 on 800 Ohio Street, on 800 Ohio Street building, the flag building. So I'll call on Rich Stroner and Jeff. Yep.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Currently, the American Legion occupies that building out on Ohio Street that used to be part of the old hospital. The city has been graciously kind enough to let us occupy that, and use it for the storage of our avenue of flags, for all the cemetery flags. And also in front of that, on the north side, we have the flag display of all the services, the benches that have been donated, and it's an Avenue of Flags public memorial. We have plans of expanding that memorial and be bringing those plans to the city council and planning and zoning for approval. But currently the situation is with that building, we pay about $10 a month for the electricity to light the lights that are on all those flags. But we also pay a charge of $42.50 every month in a base rate for the electricity to be run to that public display. And what we are requesting, which is $510 a year, we are requesting, and to see if there'd be a possibility we could have that base rate removed. We're more than happy to pay for all the electricity, but we're trying to see if we can eliminate that $510 of annual base rate.
I guess, Jeff, what is your thoughts on the?
Well, I did some research. I checked with Mr. Chiswick on whether or not that was even permissible under the ordinance, and with staff, what I found was we don't have any precedence for having waived the base rate. The way our structure is set up, the base rate is actually part of the cost of providing the power. So if, I guess if Dodie or Zach, you have anything to add, you have any comments, either one of you?
Yeah, that was my first question when Jeff brought it to me. It was, I couldn't think of another scenario where we waived the base rate because it is built in, like Jeff said, into the actual cost. So I know we checked with Dodie, and I don't think Dodie came back with another example, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I wouldn't think that we'd want to waive the base rate, but I was thinking more that we would maybe take that charge on board with our other, like with the street lights or whatever else. If we just took that in house, but it'd be, if we're going to entertain forgiving the 42, then we might as well forgive the 10 as well.
Another idea would be, again, not to, set a precedent or any favoritism here, even though we, obviously respect the Legion and want to help you guys at all costs. But if you're just running lights, and your load is literally just illumination of monuments and signs, nothing else, no high amperage loads, no consistent all day running loads. It may be worth looking into some type of standalone non-grid tied solar array where you have a bank of batteries and a couple panels, very minimal, probably sub $1,000 setup to be able to cover that, and then you just disconnect the meter, never have to pay a base rate or electricity if you're just talking illumination.
Well, and to go back when we first started this, that's a three-phase feeder that's out there. So the original base rate was 85. The city reduced it to 42.50 a few years ago because all we had was 2 lights on at night that are photocell controlled, and we don't need any power for anything other than opening up the doors when we remove the flags and shutting it because they're on an electric door operator. So that's all the power we use in that building. Even if we could have that changed to a single phase feed, like a residential feed or whatever, or a small building, that would even reduce that base rate some.
Yeah, it'd go down to like $20 some.
24 or something, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the process?
Even if we could change that to 24, that would save us half, or almost half of what we're currently spending. It's as high as it is because you folks gave us a break because it's a 3-phase load out there.
That was going to be one of my questions as to why it was 40. because, and I was wondering that. So I was wondering why it was 40. So they obviously gave you a break already. So yeah, that should have been changed back to a single phase.
Could we look into the legalities and steps for that? I mean, that'd be a good compromise. You'd still be a city customer of electricity, yet you know, the service would be more fitting to your building.
Yeah, I mean, if anything that would help us reduce that basic $510 would be greatly appreciated.
Okay.
I can talk to the staff tomorrow and find out what the normal process for modifying that down to just a single phase and what's required. And I'll get a hold of you, Rich, if that's all right.
Sure, that'd be fine. All we'd have to do is if they change to single phase, I just have to make sure my lights are on the phase that they have left, that they've got powered out there, or however they're going to do it. And that'd be easy to take care of.
We'll look into it and contact you tomorrow. We'll see what we can work out. If that's the case.
All right, I appreciate it.
Everybody happy with that?
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Item 4 on the agenda is recommend approval for issuance of a beer and liquor licenses by the Iowa Department of Commerce for the following. A, renewal of a Class A liquor license and outdoor service for American Legion Post 191 of 726 2nd Street. Renewal of a Class B beer permit, Class C native wine permit, Sunday sales for Leon's Pizza at 643 2nd Street. Renewal of a Class C e-liquor license, Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit, and Sunday sales for Yes Way Store 10018 of 1803 Superior Street, and renewal of a Class E liquor license, Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit, and Sunday sales for Yes Way Store 10021 1102 2nd Street. So we have A, B, C, D.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
A roll call, McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes. Item 5 on the agenda is setting time and place for a public hearing on the purchase agreement for city-owned property located at East Dubuque Street, Webster City, Iowa, for June 1st at 6:05 p.m. Carl, are we finally sell that lot, eh?
Yep.
I have a weird question. So how much of a lot's left there?
It's about 65 by 175, something like that.
All right, thanks.
More than big enough to put a house on.
Yeah, that's what he asked, and I said yes, there was enough for a house.
Yeah.
My motion still stands.
Second.
A roll call, Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Okay. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an amendment number 13 to on-call engineering services agreement with Schneider and Associates Incorporated of Ankeny, Iowa, providing for bridge inspection services. Seems like a reasonable price. Ken, you with us? I guess does anybody have any questions for Ken? I guess
I would move to approve.
Okay.
Was that Brian?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Second.
I second. This is Logan.
Roll call, Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Item 7 on the agenda is a resolution approving change order number 1 for the 2020 Street Department Maintenance Building Project with Jensen Builders LLC of Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Yeah, I can kind of explain this one. So during the beginning stages of working on this street department building, the first and foremost for us was to keep costs down. And with working with Tyler from Shuck Britson Engineering, that was the main goal. However, with all the details that go into a new shop, I couldn't believe all the details that go into it that I never would have thought about. In the shop area, I come to find out that there's wood for walls. There was some miscommunication between the engineer and myself. I was pretty clear that that's what we wanted for some wall sheeting on there. The wood, if anybody's been in the shop, wood is just going to rot. We wash our floor every Friday, do cleaning. We run air lines, stuff like that, and electrical. If we end up going with wood, keeping wood, and then eventually down the road, we're going to have to replace it. I have to replace all the airlines and et cetera. So I hate coming and doing a change order for the 9,900, but engineer, better off to do this now than to come back and do it in a couple of years when we just should have done it to begin with. So I guess why it wasn't on there the first time, you could probably put that on me, but there's just one thing that there's just a little miscommunication.
Anyone have any other questions for Brandon?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Item 8 on the agenda is a electric utility update. So, Jeff, you're muted at the minute.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Mayor. I would turn it over to Mr. Maloney. The council and Mayor have a memo in your packet that he is going to go over with you. Mr. Maloney?
Evening, Michael.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff. Good evening, everybody. Hey, I've got a short memo in the packet there, and it really is just to summarize some ongoing discussions that I've had with staff. A couple items simply to address some of the discussions as it relates to the municipal electric utility. As you might recall, as part of the winter kind of budget process and part of really Jeff's initiative since he arrived last fall was to take a look really closely at all the utility rates and charges. I think that was done pretty thoroughly as it relates to water and wastewater during the budget process, and those discussions are ongoing with some recommendations made already to council. Something that's been discussed with this group to date has been the fact that with the electric utility, the ability to review those rates and charges and cost of service is a little bit more detailed and is going to require some additional expertise. We've had some discussions with one of the foremost rate consultants here in Iowa, DGR Engineering, in regards to potentially scoping something to provide to staff. That would be one part of that process moving forward, and something that has been recommended to the city here again over the winter. The second piece to potentially aid in the review of that and bring something to this group as a whole in June would be to create a committee made up of a couple members here, the council, a couple staff members in the time being, to help review some of the ongoing considerations and then review the scoping with the electric rate consultant. Again, I don't want me to read off the page, but want to just follow up on some of the items that Jeff really got the ball rolling on last fall, and that we've had some discussions here with staff over the last couple of months. Anything to add, Jeff, or any questions from council? Happy to answer.
No, I think that summarizes it very well. We just look for if there's interest to the mayor and council on serving on the committee. I think it's a good step to move us forward.
Anyone have any questions? No? No? That's That's good. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Jeff.
Would you, one of you or a couple of you want to get with me at some point if you're interested in serving on the committee, Mayor, or would you appoint perhaps yourself and one other councilman?
Yeah, I guess who else would like? I'm happy to be on there. Do we have a volunteer of the? If you volunteer, do I nominate?
If there are no volunteers, I'd be happy to help you with that, Mayor.
Okay. Well, you're the first to volunteer, so you're in.
Thank you.
You better put it to a vote. Like, wait a minute.
We can put it to a vote if you like. Probably get the same answer.
Right.
If something doesn't work out, Logan, I can be your backup. So.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
I just assumed you'd jump all over Logan.
I mean, I wanted to pause and see if anyone else was interested, but with that lackluster response, I'm like, all right, let's just get this over with.
I would point out that we intend to move fairly quickly. We hope to have some initial report back to the council at your next meeting on June 1st.
Okay. Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item 9 on the agenda is to discuss the citywide cleanup. I guess we touched briefly on this last time, didn't we, Carol?
A little bit, yeah. I guess I've been paying attention to ClerkNet. A lot of those cities have canceled their cleanup or are just doing it in a different way. One thing, if we do, it was mentioned maybe pushing it back till fall, but one thing you'll have to remember is school possibly could be starting the first part of August versus the end of August. So if you want to have it that same place, you may have to change the times that we were normally doing it on Friday, or have it in July, if that's even going to be a possibility. But.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
I'd prefer to push it back. We can always look for a different spot.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, to find a different
Yeah.
area that works.
I guess we could, what do you think, Brandon? What about down behind the, if we had to do a different spot, what about down behind the Elks building or something? Could we close that road off and do something down there? We could get it.
Yeah, that would work. I mean, the only thing I worry about is the truck route being back there. So keep that in mind. Another thought.
I guess we could be fairway to the north, but yeah, we'd have to have a little control there. Maybe, well, I guess we could run the trucks down the main street for the day. But anyway, I guess we'll have to look into that a little more here. But I guess
yeah, we can get some ideas and then figure out, get a top 3, you know?
Yeah, and then I guess you're right, Carol, but I would think, are we better off waiting till, because are we better off waiting till school's back in? Would that be the general consensus? We'd wait until after the summer?
Yeah.
I think September sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Usually people aren't quite as busy and got a lot of things going on through the summer. We might get more volunteers in September.
Hey, John, what's your thoughts on using Nakoma's parking lot? They could pull in on one end, exit the other direction. Parking lot for the baseball diamonds out there.
Okay.
I think it'd be too tight, probably.
We can come in one and go out the other, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Could we use Kmart parking lot?
Probably could. I guess we should, because we'd have to get permission. We wouldn't, I doubt they'd give us permission to do it. So.
Got plenty of time to talk about options, I guess.
Yeah. Might have a look. I'll have a look at that. See how much room we got down there, Brandon. That's not a bad one, because at least we've got full control of that. So.
Sure.
And there's a little shade there if people need to take breaks and if it is warm.
Yeah.
Bicentennial Court, Brandon's driveway.
Easy.
I think the road out there doesn't need any more traffic. So.
That's true. That was true.
Good call.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Item 10 is the transition plan for parks reopening and City Hall and whatever else we've got there. So
Are we going to talk about council meetings being normal?
yeah, well, that's all part of this same discussion, I guess.
Part of the transition. Beth, you want to go over the transition plan we submitted to the council? You're muted.
Yep. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'll just summarize what I had sent out last week. The street, line, and public grounds departments returned full staff today on a staggered schedule. So they have stayed in their teams. They're working on a staggered schedule and trying not to cross paths as much as possible. Water, wastewater plants returned full staff today. They are each assigned to a facility, and we have assigned that by licenses so that we have the proper backup that can transfer to the other plant with the proper licenses if needed. Police dispatch at current is going to remain on their 7-day on, 7-day off schedule at this point, and we'll be reevaluating that prior to June 1st. Recreation will remain on their rotation and be reevaluated prior to June 1st. They have really been utilizing this time. They've been working very hard. They've repainted the entire facility and are doing some other maintenance projects that are difficult to do when they're open, the hours that they are open. And this is typically a slower time of year for them, for the facilities that would be open at this time at 50% capacity. The administration offices here at City Hall have remained on their 1 week on, 1 week off rotation, with everybody that is out of the office on their off rotation. They are working remotely. We have access to the main system and everything from home. So we've all continued to work remotely from home when we are off. We, again, in the admin offices, we have divided up into 2 teams. Each team contains staff that can complete all what we have determined to be the essential tasks, which utility billing, payroll, accounts payable, and the council agenda. We are cross-trained and have individuals on each team that can complete those tasks. If one team were to not be available to work, the other team can come in and take care of all those essential things that need to be done. So we are continuing to rotate and reevaluate prior to June 1st as well. The challenges we have within the office is really that we all share one indoors workspace. We are not able to stagger work schedules or put people in separate buildings to have that safeguard. So this time we're working through all the issues that we need to work through. We've got some plexiglass guards on order, as does every other business in town. So we're waiting patiently to get those. So the plan going forward is we will reevaluate prior to June 1st with the tentative plan of bringing back Fuller Hall staff and City Hall staff on Monday, June 1st. Fuller Hall would then possibly open to adults only at 50% capacity on summer hours, and City Hall would move to an appointment only status, and then we would monitor as we move along.
So would our meeting on June 1st we'll be in the chambers then? Are we able to be spaced out enough to be in the chambers?
Well, I've asked Carol to help kind of work through those logistics, and we'll have to space everything out, and then we'll have to see how much room we have for public chairs because they'll all have to be spaced 6 feet apart. So I don't know what capacity we'll end up being at that point. But, and I know Carol has been in discussions with other cities on what they've been doing too. So there are some other alternatives.
Yeah.
Some of the cities have been doing what we're doing, just virtually the Zoom meetings 100%. Some cities have, if the council members want to come to council chambers, they are welcome. So they might have one council member there with the city clerk, and then the other 4 or 5 or how many ever there are join electronically. Very few are allowing public access to the meetings yet, with really no dates mentioned that I've noticed. I think it's just kind of a day by day, week by week, like we're kind of experiencing here and trying to plan for. I have not had anybody contact me as far as not being able to join the meeting, or if they have a concern or issue that they're not getting their questions answered or having access to the meetings this way. So I don't think this has been a problem, unless some of you have heard differently from people. So that's kind of like, that's just kind of what others are doing right now.
Yeah, I see on the mayor's site, there's a few of the cities are going to be looking at June 1st, but I haven't seen it for sure yet. But there's quite a few that are looking at June 1st as opening up again, opening up their city halls. But there's a couple of them have already opened them up, but most of them are waiting till June 1st.
And I know there's some that are also, they're letting council come to the meeting in council chambers or wherever they meet, and then still remaining closed to the public and letting them join by calling in or a Zoom platform.
Well, I would assume that, obviously our councils are fairly young, so I'll say that you've got a lot of council members that are older than myself who are in the high risk category. So I would think that they'd be more worried about it.
I do want to bring up, Beth, and I can't find it, but I'm 99% sure that the whole, if you travel out of state, you have to isolate for 14 days thing. I think that recommendation has been lifted. I just can't find the latest on CDC or IDPH.
Yeah, and under CDC guidelines, we're all still on level 3, which is non-essential travel is not advised. And yeah, we've taken a more cautious approach than some others have at this point in time. A lot of other cities have not lifted that out-of-state restriction at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I think, where I work, I don't think we do that anymore.
No, I talked to your HR person.
Okay. I couldn't remember for sure, but I was pretty positive.
Yeah, and we have taken a more cautious approach.
Okay. Is the police window, the window to see the police dispatches, is that completely barriered off so you couldn't yell, you can't face to face there anyone? Or is that speaker that's there a pass through?
No, there's a little tray at the bottom that's open, and then there's a speaker on the wall.
All right.
So there's no openings other than the one at the bottom.
Right. I would guess that when you open that up, you'd only have one door open, would you?
More than likely to, because you've got to control traffic flow, or it's strongly advised that you control the flow of traffic coming in and out. And
yeah, so what's been touched. Or
yeah, like the city of Fort Dodge, they only opened 2 utility customers today. Everything else is by appointment only, but they are strongly encouraging people to call instead of coming in. and to pay online instead of coming in, and only so many people can be in there around the utility office at one time. And if you exceed the number, you have to wait outside. So they have a whole list of details surrounding. I mean, it says they opened, but they only opened to make a utility payment today. Everything else is still appointment only, and there's a whole list of requirements.
Yeah.
Maximum number of residents they allow in City Hall is 9 in Plymouth currently.
Right. As Dodie, have we had many people complaining that where they can't pay the utilities, or we've been pretty good, haven't we? We were at 98% or something last month. So.
Yeah, I do not know of anyone complaining. I did have quite a few calls today asking if we were open, and that they had already used the night drop for payment and would do that again. But, you know, I would question though, while we're on this topic, you know, right now we have, you know, waived any penalties. We're not doing the disconnects, and we're also not charging a fee to use the credit card, you know, online. But I also, maybe that needs to be discussed too. At what point do we go back to those?
Well, obviously we
normal?
wouldn't change that until we are open fully.
Right.
I think. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess my feeling on council meetings, and if we're working towards reevaluating for June 1st, I think I would rather plan to have the June 1st meeting electronically, and then make sure that by the second meeting of June, the 15th, that we are hopefully can do it in person, since some of those decisions won't be made until that week before June 1st. It's just easier to put together your dialogue for your resolutions and things like that if you know a little bit ahead of time, as far as setting public hearings and holding public hearings. And but that's just as,
What if we just decide right now?
what's that?
If we just decide to have it right now, then you can have all the time you want to prep.
True.
I guess other than my opinion, other than just a little bit of you know, background, sometimes little things that are hard to do remotely, I've thought this has been a fine format, and I would rather proceed with more caution and at least have one more meeting, and maybe open it up to, you know, if you want to be in chambers, you can let them know ahead of time, and that way it can be spaced apart 6 feet, and those that want to join electronically can join electronically.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume that the electronic meeting won't go away after we've, once we are meeting live and whatever else. This is something we're using now, and for those who can't be in town on that day and whatever, should be able to keep doing this into the future, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, when you think of it, we kind of started this at the first of the year. You know, like I couldn't make that first meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Times, you know, Caitlin has a call in, or Matt or whoever, and you know, I don't see why we couldn't still have this as some type of arm or some type of conduit for remote council members. I personally agree with Councilman McKinney. I'd rather proceed with some caution. Not saying that necessarily we couldn't, but why risk it? You know, we seem to be communicating well. There hasn't been many balls dropped when it comes to projects due to this lack of in-person communication. So I'm okay, at least June 1st, maintaining this remote type of meeting, but I'm still, you know, looking forward to the time we get back to normal, but I'm in no hurry.
Caitlin? What's your thoughts on it?
I'm honestly neutral. I don't care either way. I'm fine coming down, or I'm fine doing Zoom.
Okay. I think at this stage we'll wait. We'll wait another meeting then, and we'll wait till the second meeting in June, at least at this stage, and we'll see how we go. So
That'll give us a little more time too to decide figure out exactly how many, if we are going to have that meeting open to the public as well, how many people we can allow in and how.
Yeah, I think that's true. And you know, that has been a little bit unfortunate, I guess, but I guess I can't tell completely how many people are on the meeting each night, but I don't think we've had too many outside, but then I guess that's not unusual when we are live. We don't have many more either half the time, unless we start talking about cats or something. I think that Iowa Falls is talking about chickens tonight.
Yeah. Did you get a call today?
Yes, I did. So.
Did you, Logan?
You're muted.
You're muted, Logan.
Whoopsies. Okay. Yeah, he talked to me. I think Iowa Falls, not only are they voting on, you know, allowing poultry in their backyard, but like we faced 4 or 5 years ago, but they're also doing their first Zoom meeting, I think, tonight. It sounded like.
Oh.
So I don't know if they've been meeting like in person since this all happened, but he says it's like the first time they're going to try the Zoom meeting. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. They got quite a few people weighing in on that, so it could be a long, interesting meeting, I guess. All right. Well, so we're happy with that. We'll move on to the reports and recommendations.
Do you want to talk about the parks reopening?
Parks reopening.
Oh, yeah.
The mayor and council have my memo. Would you like me to go over that briefly for the public, Mayor?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, that way anyone who's listening.
Sure. After consulting with staff, the following is our recommendation for the parks and recreation facilities reopening, that all city parks would reopen at noon tomorrow. That's Tuesday, May 9th. Consistent with the governor's proclamations, all parks, playgrounds will remain closed until further notice. The restrooms in Brewer Creek Park and West Twin Park will remain closed until further notice. Consistent with the governor's proclamation, the skate park in East Twin Park will remain closed until further notice. There'll be no park shelter rentals until further notice. The decision on the pool, the outdoor pool, will not be made at least until June 1st. As I understand it from Mr. Flaws, our typical opening date would be June 7th. So that'll still give us some time to actually open on time should we be allowed to do so. I would expect that the primary indicator would be whether or not the governor would allow that. Right now, under her proclamation, the public pools are closed. And then lastly, we've already discussed a little bit of City Hall and Fuller Hall, but very much consistent with what Beth described, that we would like to slowly open up Fuller Hall once the maintenance work is completed sometime in early June, and that we would open it up initially to adults only and at a reduced capacity. That's it in a nutshell. I did get a question today about disc golf. I would describe that disc golf is a part of the rest of the park facilities that are not specifically closed, and so therefore, as long as participants would maintain their social distancing, the disc golf would be open as of noon tomorrow. Questions?
Nope. That sounds good, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Did you ever get a quote about large-scale disinfecting?
Yes, actually, we have purchased a sprayer and we've narrowed it down to 2 or 3 options on some specific disinfectant. There's one in particular that was recommended by Bud Wood that's actually was created for veterinary applications, but looks like would actually disinfect the playgrounds and would stay on it for several hours and continuing to disinfect. So we're going to be prepared once the playgrounds are open, I would assume by the governor, that we will obviously continue to clean them on a regular basis, trying to make them as safe as possible.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else? Should I consider that a consensus to move forward with the plan, or comments, questions?
Oh, sounds good. You're good to go, Jeff?
Great. We've got signage already done, both in English and Spanish. Staff will put those up tomorrow morning. and it'll officially open at noon. All right?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So we good to move on to item D, Carol?
Yep.
All right. Reports and recommendations of officers, boards, and commissions. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, we consider in its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item 1 as a motion to accept and place on file the city manager April reports, electric, wastewater, water, electric year-to-date, water year-to-date, and the inspection department. Item 2 is a motion to accept and place on file the police department April reports, and a motion to accept and place on file the fire department April report. 1, 2, and 3.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Do we have anything else we need to discuss tonight? Or anyone else got anything?
Yeah, I was curious about as far as like the evaluations that we put on hold. Are we planning to get those done as soon as possible when we return to live meetings, or what's everybody's thought on that?
I would assume we would get them done as quickly as we can once we need to be live pretty well, don't we? I would assume.
I'd prefer to be live.
Yeah, because that's the reason we waited, so we might as well. So I guess we'll be looking at doing something on the second meeting, I guess, will we, Carol? Or second in June, and if
Yeah.
it's going to be live. So
I can get mine scheduled for that meeting, and then I'll visit with Jeff and Beth on getting
Jeff's
scheduled as well.
Yeah. Okay. Unless we've got
schedule haircuts now.
I guess unless we can, unless we end up doing some sort of work session, then we'll just have to work them around the council meetings, because unless we have a reason to specific, I don't think we've got anything big things we need to have a work session on at the moment, do we, Jeff?
I think so.
Yeah, nothing I know of. So, all right. Well, if that's the case, I'll call for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
That Welch?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right, roll call. McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening.
Night.